सुभाषजीलाई फर्स्ट 1 मिनट चाहिँ आफ्नो इन्ट्रोडक्सन दिन र त्यसपछि प्रेजेन्टेसन सुरु गर्न अनुरोध गर्दछु।
Namaste everyone. My name is Suvash. I'm currently living in San Francisco Bay Area. I'm a machine learning engineer. Thanks for inviting me here. I'm really excited about sharing my perspective on leveraging AI, so especially its implication in developing countries. So can I go ahead and share my screen and get started with the
Yes,
Alright.
please. Yes, thank you.
Can you all see my screen?
Yep. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So this this talk is about the implication of like AI, especially in the developing countries. So this is going to be very high level discussion, and feel free to like ask questions. So just a brief introduction about myself. I did my PhD in machine learning from Australian National University, completed that in 2016. Since then, I've been working in the industry. So right now I work in this company called Tubi. Before that, I work at Twitter and then Tabcorp. And here's a link to my research work that I've done during my PhD, mostly during my PhD. So let's briefly talk about AI. So I think AI has taken this front stage since in last 5 years or last 2 to 3 years. Like we've been using AI in the background, like without knowingly, but like since the release of models such as ChatGPT, like everyone has become more familiar about AI. Before that, also every time you use something like Google, something like YouTube, like there's an AI system in the background that is finding right videos for you or right content for you, or like finding the right documents that you search for. So, but like now with this generative AI and everything, it has become more like prominent. So in my belief, I think like electricity revolutionized the industry, like driven the technological revolution, AI is also going to do the same thing for the humanity. And again, similar to internet democratize information flow. And I think AI is also going to make similar impact in making access to the expert knowledge to everyone in the world. However, there are a lot of challenges in developing countries, in particularly to access these technologies, and I'm going to talk about that briefly in this presentation. Before jumping in, I want to just talk about some of the use cases that are more relevant to like Nepal. AI use cases in the classical terms in agriculture, healthcare, and education, and we'll briefly talk about how AI is being used in frontier research as well. So application of AI in agriculture. So I picked some examples. So there's this app called Plantex. Basically, what you have to do is take a photo of leaf or like plant which you think is having a problem, and then it will kind of do sort of diagnosis and tells what is the problem, if there are any problem with the plant, and then give you like necessary measures that you can do to like prevent what is happening. So there was another example I picked here is a pilot program by Microsoft, basically launched in India. So what they have done is they send SMS messages to the farmers to tell the right time to plant seeds, and they have done this research which has shown that it significantly improves the yield of the crop. So these are some examples how AI can help in agriculture. There are like a lot of use cases, but these two are like something. These are a few examples. Application in healthcare. Healthcare is another big area where AI is making its strides. Again, I picked some examples of some use cases in developing countries. So like there are computer-aided softwares that are helping people to get access to X-rays based computer-based diagnosis. So WHO has endorsed a couple of software systems that can take your X-ray images and diagnose tuberculosis. And this is very important, and as well as critical in the area, like remote part of the like developing countries where they don't have access to the radiologists to do the diagnosis. So you can actually use AI-aided software to get early feedback and maybe send it over like a communication channel to expert to do more for the diagnosis. And this has been very helpful. Another example is like led by Google. It's focusing on diabetic retinopathy, and this system is extremely accurate and sometimes on par to expert systems. So far, it has been used to screen 600,000 eyes in diagnosing the retinopathy. And they've been, Google is partnering with countries like India and Thailand to screen and like make this accessible to a lot of people who otherwise don't have access to quality healthcare. And it is all driven by AI and software systems. There are a lot of more use cases of application of AI, like AI in the field of medicine in developing countries. Like for one example, I see every day is when I go and see a doctor, like all of the medical notes are now transcribed by AI system. So which would be very cumbersome thing to do. And now it is completely automated by AI, which means like all of the notes, you don't miss anything. It captures everything that the doctor is transcribing, and you get the full snapshot of your visit. And these kind of technologies are like being more prominent day by day. So another area like that is very relatable to like developing countries is use of AI in education. So there are a lot of effort in personalized education. Personalization in education is like a big area where you can cater like a different education style per student, which makes the learning more pleasing experience. I picked one example of this app called Google Read Along. So basically, the objective of this app is to help children learn languages, and this has been used in India, like, and it comes in 11 different languages, and some of the controlled studies have shown that like it has increased the fluency of learning languages in kids by 40%, which is like very, very significant. Um, One interesting example I found was this called Robots Mali. So it's basically a generative AI system which is able to generate like 180 plus children books in a local language, because a lot of people in developing countries don't have don't understand other languages, they don't have access to like those languages. So it's very critical to get something that they can easily relate to. It's more, it captures the cultural aspect as well as making it accessible to the children. So these are a few examples where we have seen how AI is impacting various aspects of healthcare, agriculture, and education. There are so many use cases, but I'm not going to go into details of those. I want to So these were some examples in your day-to-day life. It's not only AI is being used in like day-to-day life, but they are actually being used in very cutting-edge research. I picked some examples again here. There are so many of them. So the recent, like the most popular is the Nobel Prize in chemistry that actually got, actually it was given to Google DeepMind researchers for developing this AI technology called AlphaFold. Basically, it tried to predict the protein structure, which is very fundamental in a lot of medical research, drug design, and understanding diseases. Other example is in mathematics. Like Google is leading its effort in terms of like solving this millennium problem, which is like selected 10 different mathematical problems, which are the most hardest problem in mathematics that we know of. And also it's actively being used in drug discovery. So in future, I think it won't be very surprising if we already have a lot of AI assisted drug discovery that comes into clinical trial, but it won't be very surprising in future if AI system completely takes some samples data and automatically comes up with the synthesized drug that we can test and evaluate. So I want to briefly touch into the application of AI in countries like Nepal. I did a little bit of research and I found very limited use cases. So there are mostly application of AI in Nepal is mostly limited to pilot programs. And here I've listed some of the examples. So there's a program from FAO, basically an app which helps you to diagnose diseases in the crop by just taking a photo of leaves, similar to the planting software I mentioned. And there are some pilot programs in healthcare as well. So example, Project Kumbu, it's done by this company called Cure AI. Basically, it's again using the proprietary software to diagnose chest X-rays using a computer-aided system. NAMI, I think it's like a leading research organization. They developed this chatbot to help people with the maternal health related question and answering system. We are seeing it coming there, but most of them are limited to small pilot programs. And hopefully I expect that to change in future as like we embrace AI technology moving forward. I want to briefly talk about this. These things are like classical machine learning or classical AI. I want to talk briefly about this generative AI revolution that has taken over the world. So in particular, I want to talk briefly about the large language models. So large language models are basically like you can think of it as a black box system, which is trained to all human knowledge. So it is trained, it knows everything that is available in the internet, all human knowledge that we have gathered over thousands of years. And it provides an interface in which you can talk to this black box system in natural language and response in natural language. So it's a very interactive and like easy mode of interacting with the AI system. But now it's mostly limited to English. You can talk to generative AI in a native language also, just because of the sparsity of the data available. It's more accurate if you speak in the language such as English. So I want to talk briefly about how this has become the household name. So in particular, I think everyone has used ChatGPT one way or another way. So ChatGPT or language models have made access to knowledge very easy. So they are very good at translating languages, understanding complex ideas, and in fact, actually generating production-ready code in software companies. Here's a graph in this slide. It shows how quickly ChatGPT was impressed by people. So it took only 2 months to reach 200 million users. That tells the scale of its operation as well as usability and impact in day-to-day life. There's one interesting stats about generative AI. Again, 25% of the code written in Google is written by the AI system. So you can see how companies are embracing the AI system and how it's going to change. And it's just been like a couple of years that these systems have come to play. So I want to show a quick demo. Let's say I am a teacher in a remote country like Nepal, and I want to explain this concept of central limit theorem. So it's a foundational thing in statistics. So let me quickly open it. So here is the demo. Basically, I have asked ChatGPT system to say to generate this. I'll talk about how this is generated. So basically, it creates this demonstration.
I'm अलिकति हेर्नुपर्छ कि सुभाषजी, thank you. पुष्पजी, please just follow up.
Yep, I will. I'll just skip the demo, but this is just an example of how you can generate something using generative AI. Back to the slides. So what are the opportunities and challenges for in developing countries is so the opportunity definitely is access to the expert level knowledge is very easy now with the generative AI technologies. Also, developing countries may lack resources to train these large language models, but open source models are making it easy even for developing countries to have access to them. And also we can unlock immense potential by creating informative systems on top of these powerful AI technologies. The challenges for like specifically is like I would say like a language barrier, lack of AI experts in developing countries, and it is made worse even by the brain drain of like to from developing countries to like other countries. And there's also access to the powerful AI system. Most of them are behind the paywall. And there's a lack of government policy and infrastructure required to support and train people to use these technologies. So these are the key challenges. So what's the way forward? For a country like Nepal, I think the first and foremost important thing is government policy in planning, execution, and making AI accessible. Also, initiative to introduce AI-aided tools, not just in the pilot program, but with the long-term thinking so that it is sustainable. Another important thing is to upskill at scale. Basically, you have to like, because we know how powerful their systems are, so we need to teach people how to use it responsibly and make best use of it. So maybe introduce it in schools, and partnership between the government and private sector to build the ecosystem that fosters innovation. So in general, I think AI is going to change world good or a better way. And I think developed countries can leapfrog using this technology to build more complex systems, solve real problems. And I think the most important thing for developing countries is to lean on to this technology and embrace it. And for that, like government should think about policy to make that possible. And yeah, that concludes my talk. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Thank you, Suvash. That was really great presentation, as I wished it was connecting everything, including the agriculture, crop production, health, education, and statistics as well. But I found one thing that spontaneously question in my mind. In academia, people are scared about use of AI in the assignments and production of the essays and all those things. I think something about drawbacks of this AI technology. Maybe you can speak about it a little bit for 1 or 2 minutes.
This is definitely, yeah, absolutely. The challenge with AI is now a lot of the assignments or the things that the mental stimulation you get by doing this exercise. Like mental stimulation is not fun for anyone, right? So basically, you'll always want to find a workaround. So definitely there are challenges in that. That's why it's very important to educate people and tell them like when is the right time to use it. And I think over the period of time, like we will see the education also evolved. So it's very hard to tell right now. But again, it's important to educate people how you should use it. Like just doing assignment is probably not the right way to use it. Using it in the real day-to-day life to solve problem is probably, because one is about solving problem, another is about acquiring knowledge. There is no shortcut to acquiring knowledge. You have to go through that painful process. So that's why it's extremely important in schools and like in education sector to teach students the importance and as well as drawbacks, like if you use the shortcut.
Thank you. Thank you very much.